Today we're going to talk about how do I grade my elementary students in music class. So, first things first, though, I thought I should say a little bit about me. I'm Andrea Oram. I have taught pre-K through 12th grade for quite a while now. And before that, I taught elementary students exclusively. So, it's quite the adventure. I also love helping teachers who are interested in moving from public to more self-employment if with lots of different questions and making it realistic, because that's what I did. So let's get into this conversation. It's a fun one for me. I know a lot of people don't like grading, but I really do. And here's why. I like grading because of the purpose I see for grading. All right. So first of all, before you actually are doing it, you should look at why you're doing it. For some people, it's like, oh, well, it's a necessary evil. It's a necessary part of my school's system, right? Every school or district has a different system, and that's part of what I have to do in my role as the music teacher, so that's why I do it. When in reality, that's not why I do grades. That's not why I take assessments. In fact, as a self-employed music teacher, I'm not really required to give grades, but I still take assessments a lot, and I use them for very helpful reasons. And so here's my purpose for assessment. I use assessments for planning for myself. So for example, if I'm hearing little snippets of solos from students, like in an echo song, like I sing, they sing, I sing, they sing, and they're just singing a little piece of it, I can very quickly assess where my students are at with pitch matching or with a certain range of their voice. If I pick to start the echo song higher or lower, I can see where they're at in that specific part of their range, maybe. I can also just see how well they know the song too, right? So there's all sorts of reasons why I could use assessments in my classroom. I could also do rhythm assessments where they are playing a pattern that's on a flashcard or in a game or something like that, right? And so I make a lot of my assessments into games. So especially for my youngest elementary students, it's so easy to just say, well, we're going to play a game. And then when we play the game, everybody's like, I want a turn, I want a turn. So everybody wants a turn, and I get to say everybody's going to get a turn, right? Because then I can use that turn taking as an assessment. So I can assess for whatever different things I'm looking for in that game. So the biggest reason I use assessments is for planning purposes. So I can see, oh, they really understand this concept or that specific thing that we're working on, whatever it is that we have been working on. And then once they understand that, we can move on. Versus if I notice, oh, wow, a lot of students are making a mistake with X. Maybe it's a specific new rhythm piece that we've been working on. Excuse me. Or maybe it is a specific pitch that we're working on if we're doing solfege or something like that with my slightly older students, elementary students. Whatever that looks like, I can assess where they are at with it. And if enough of them are struggling, I can go back and do some reteaching or some continued practice. And I know that from the assessments that we took. Versus if I didn't take assessments and I just heard the whole group doing something, I might assume, oh, they all got it. Moving on. And then something else might be more challenging for them because they weren't quite prepared for it, right? So if you have a purpose behind your assessment first, it's really, really helpful in actually doing it well and using it to your advantage. As far as grading and report cards go, for the most part, I've always used standards-based grading, so I have a specific standard I'm looking for. Johnny can keep a steady beat, or I can keep a steady beat. And so if they don't meet that assessment or that standard, then there's different levels at which they do or don't meet that standard. And so that's how we actually do things for report cards, right? But I haven't done report cards in quite a long time personally. So I haven't needed to worry about that piece of it, but I still do assessing all the time because assessments are important for my planning, right? And if I'm able to use that for my planning, and a lot of my kids really like knowing how they're doing. So I'm able to say, hey, you're doing a great job in this area. you could use a little more work in this area. If they're slightly older elementary students, that matters more to them. If they are the younger ones, they probably don't even notice that I'm doing different assessments and stuff, and that's fine. The goal is not for them to know how I'm assessing them. And in my opinion, the goal is not for them to know how I'm assessing them. The goal is for my planning purposes for them to grow and move to the next level. So for me, very young elementary students should be just focusing on play and learning through play. And they don't need to be focused on how they're doing really well or what things they need to learn and focus more on. That's just my opinion. Everybody's got a different opinion on that, and that's okay. And mine might not be the most popular opinion, right? As far as school administrators go, but that's okay. I'm not teaching for a school anymore, so I can have my own opinion. But does that make sense? And so I use so many games for my assessments, and my students become very comfortable with doing assessments because they see it first as a game. And as they get older, they realize, oh yeah, she is taking an assessment, but it's for our learning and for our growth so we can get better, right? And so they don't look at that as something to be worried about, but something to just enjoy and have fun with. So I hope this was helpful. Let me know if you have any different other ways that you grade your students. Sometimes I'll use forms for that, like Google Forms or something like that. It really just depends on the type of assessment and what our goals are with it. So have a great rest of your day. If you're watching live, I will catch you again next week. Or I guess if you're watching in the near future, I'll catch you again on Monday. But bye for now. Have a great day.